Turn it up. You're listening to the Country Music Rocks podcast with Danny and Julia. Your all-access pass to all your favorite artists, untold stories, and the real behind-the-scenes of country music.
I am super pumped and excited about this podcast this week.
I am too. I may even be a little bit more excited about you just because of the fact we are talking about Kenny Chesney, and you already know he's one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, yeah. Him and Kip Moore, one of your fellow Bostonians, I would say, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kenny definitely has a love for Boston, which
Yes,
I
he
love
does.
that even more.
Yeah, that's
about him.
what attracts you so much to him.
I mean, there's so much, but I do love his passion for Boston and the Patriots and even the Red Sox. And
Yeah.
just all of it.
But in general, one of the nicest guys in country music.
So nice.
And we're learning things about him that we never knew.
I know.
From this incredible book.
Yeah. So this book just came out.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he doesn't really say it's a memoir. It's more of, it's almost like a love letter to his fans.
Right.
And to No Shoes Nation, which, I mean, it's pretty cool that he has, I love that he calls his fans No Shoes Nation.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I would
great.
like just a small 10% portion of the sales from the No Shoes Nation.
Right? Yeah. I mean, you'd be set.
I wouldn't have to work another day of my life.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, because everyone does love the man.
Yeah.
No, it's a cool book, and I'm excited because I didn't realize it came in so many different versions. And there's a paper book, there's a hard book,
Right.
There is an Audible book, which I love.
Yes.
And the cool thing about the Audible is it's Kenny's voice.
Right, which I think just totally brings it all together to hear him
Yes.
tell his story basically to you because you're hearing his voice through your speakers.
Instead of some random person that
Yes,
we don't know reading a book
exactly.
to you,
Yeah.
which is always weird to me. I've heard them, and I'm not a book reader.
Right.
I've realized early in life that I thumb through stuff that I need to, unless it's something that's really caught my eye. Like I read Johnny Cash's book.
Okay.
I read a book with Shania Twain and a couple of others, but this is I definitely want my own copy.
Yeah.
Because I want to have it as a keepsake, and if we ever get a chance to hang with Kenny again, I definitely want to have him sign it.
For sure.
Because I do have a few of those, but I'm excited to hear more about it. And it seems like lately, my TikTok, my Facebook, my Instagram has blown up lately because of all the success lately with him.
About Kenny.
The big week last week in Nashville,
Yep.
or a couple weeks now at the Country Music Hall of Fame, getting inducted and finally feeling a part of the country music family.
And I feel like that was so well deserved for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he may feel like he doesn't deserve it, but he absolutely 1,000% does.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting to me because I saw him on that CBS Sunday morning version. If you have not seen it, you got to go back and see if you can find it on Hulu, or maybe even just try and Google it on YouTube
I'm sure it's on
or
YouTube,
something.
yeah.
I'm sure. What an amazing interview. So good. And it goes about the life in the British Virgin Islands and how he likes to spend his time. And I didn't realize he was such a Hemingway fan.
Yeah.
And he literally said he spent 2 weeks at the same place where Hemingway wrote these books.
Oh, very
And
cool.
he would take a book out, he would go on the boat, he would just relax with the sun and the waves, read a book, and then he'd come back a week later and read another book. And it was really incredible to hear. And then in that interview, I didn't realize there were some things that happened with Kenny where he had a breakdown moment, which was you don't really hear from artists like that.
Right.
And this is him opening up. And I thought it was really cool about him to do.
Yeah.
In 2009, he said he had a 16-song greatest hits album, and nobody knew who he was.
Which is insane to me.
Yeah, I'm like, how?
Yeah.
But again, we're different from everybody else.
Yeah, that is true.
So,
That is true, yeah.
we've been into the concerts. We've seen them. We've been to Lumen Field multiple times. We've had the opportunity to shake hands and meet him and sit in the sandbox. But for people that just knew of songs, and that's why I think I like songwriters so much, is because the stories behind the songs come out, and then you go, that guy wrote that.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people that realize that Kenny wrote a lot of those songs.
Right.
Which is really cool.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that he actually wrote a book because he's such a private person.
Yeah.
And he shares a lot in this, just even from the little pieces that I've already read.
Right.
So I was very surprised by that because he's very quiet. He's not the type of, I've had the opportunity I've met him I've been a fan always.
Sure.
But like the first time I met him,
Right.
it was just in the traditional meet and greet.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was nervous because it was like I was finally meeting somebody that
Of that stature.
that I never thought I would ever get the
Right.
opportunity to meet. And he was just so nice and so kind. And, it's very fast. I mean, you know how meet and greets are.
Oh, yeah. Quick.
But I've also met him I think 2, 3 other times, maybe 3, yeah, just in industry settings. So of course that's a lot different.
Right.
And again, just the nicest guy. He
Sure.
doesn't, he's not trying to walk into a room and be like, okay, I'm here, all eyes on me, super loud and super boisterous. It's almost like you don't even know he's there.
Right. Right. Yes, true.
But
Yeah.
he's funny. He's got like the one-liners, and he keeps to himself.
Yep.
But he still makes such a presence.
He does.
Which I think is actually stronger than if he did come in like a bull.
Like a hothead, yeah.
Exactly.
And we know that there are a few people in country music that are like that, and that's fine. That's their personalities. That's who they are.
100%, yeah.
Whereas him, it's different. And it's funny you say that, because I think about 6 years ago, we were at Lumen Field, and he came into a room. It was a bunch of radio programmers and music directors and promotion people that were there. And over the years, those rooms have slowly shrunken down.
Sure.
But at the point, he's like, I want to meet the people that are playing my music and their
Right.
families. And it was a really cool moment, because he came in, and there might have been like 16 people of us in this room, and he met every single one of us, and he shook our hands and said hello. And I remember he stepped on Kimmy's Converse shoes. They were like an aqua green mint.
Okay.
And they got dirty.
Uh-oh.
And she was so mad. And I was like, but he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she's like, no, it's okay. Like, what are you going to say?
I mean,
You're gonna...
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
He was willing to buy new shoes.
Oh.
And it was like, we're like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just relax.
Yeah.
But he's just one of those guys, down to earth, very cool. And then after that 60 minutes, you got to watch it.
Yeah.
It will blow your mind, because I didn't realize like how laid back he is. Again, in 2009, when he had that moment on stage, like he felt like he had just hit a wall, because he'd been working so hard. And when they become an artist of this stature, they put so much into it, and the people that work
yeah.
around him. So it was interesting to me that they showed video of it, like.
So was
crying.
it if you said 2009?
Yeah.
Was it in Indianapolis?
Yes.
Okay, so I was actually at that show.
You were?
I was at that show, and I was going to talk about this anyways. And he talks about it in the book.
Yeah.
I found it in the book that he talked about it. And it was the final show of, he's closing out his tour.
Yep.
And you could just tell, I think there was already talks. I think he had already announced that he wasn't going to tour in 2010.
Right.
And he didn't know when he was going to tour again. I think he was doing show, like he was doing stadiums, but he was also doing shows too. Like he was doing amphitheaters. He was doing, some of the smaller stuff. So he was doing shows like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I mean, just back to back, and then, finally getting like a 3-day break or so, and then, back out there again. I mean, I want to say his shows was like, 60 plus shows all summer, crammed from like March to end of August, early September.
Right.
So yeah, it is a lot. And I'll never forget, that was the end of the tour. Again, we didn't know we knew there wasn't going to be anything in 2010 or any time.
Yeah.
But he closed it out with Better as a Memory.
Yes.
And all he sang was basically the first line. And I just remember the fans, including me, we all sang it for him.
Sure.
And it was such a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I can literally, like, when I saw it in the book that he talked about it, it took me back, like his song, I Go Back. I mean, there's so many moments of his that I do go back.
Yeah.
And it was pretty powerful. And it was very genuine. Like you could tell, it was almost like, was he thinking maybe I shouldn't stop touring? It was almost like he was torn a little bit. I don't know.
Should I continue? Should I not continue?
Who knows what was going through his mind?
Yeah.
But I think the rest probably did him good, because I think he had been going nonstop for so many years prior.
And that's tough, because like you said, going back between stadiums, which at that time were not as big as they are now.
Right.
And he's doing, at this time, I think that one year he ended up doing a show here. That night he did a show at which was called the Sleep Country Amphitheater at the time, and then he went to Bend that same weekend. So you're doubling back on it, and it's a lot of work.
It's so much, and music does, and touring does become your priority. I mean, you don't really have time.
Yeah.
For anything else.
But you don't have time for family. You don't have time for friends.
And he touches on that.
Yeah.
I think that's it's funny, because like you don't hear about. What you hear about him in the news is usually about his music. You know, he's not one that's always has a headline about this, that, and the other thing. So again, this kind of surprised me, because he is so private.
Right.
But I mean, when you think about it, all he's been doing lately, for the past, decades is touring.
That's all he does. Yeah. In fact, the girl that co-wrote this with him, Holly Gleason, I had a chance to work with her and Kenny many, many years ago. I don't know if I've ever told you this.
I feel like I don't know this.
Yeah, I don't know if I've told you this story or not.
Yeah.
So years ago, when I started in radio, I started at a station in Southern California, my hometown, KZLA. It was like the biggest country station, second largest country station in America. A friend of mine named Sean Parr was the afternoon host and said, hey, we need help at the ACMs. We're grandfathered in. Can you come with me and help? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll step my way in, do whatever.
Yeah.
So that first year, they had asked me to become a seat filler. So I became a seat filler, and some other people didn't show up. And they're like, hey, we need help. We need to get to the artist staging area. Can you please get Kenny Chesney? And I was like, sure, not a problem. So I go back to the area where we were at the Universal Amphitheater at the time. And before they moved it to like New York, and now it was in LA for many, many years. Anyways, I knew exactly where the staging area was. So Kenny was next to like Alabama and Travis Tritt at the time. I asked him to come on in and have, hey, we need you on the stage. Holly would come along with him. She kind of barked at me, and I was like, uh-oh. And I'm like, hey, I'm just here.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, who are you? What are you doing here? And I'm like, she's like, you're not allowed in here. And I'm like, well, they just asked me to come get you.
Yeah.
So, and she's like, okay. So after, another friend of his, David Farmer, was his manager, and Clint Heim, is great people, just fantastic people, like brothers.
Yeah.
Him and David have been friends for
I was
years,
gonna say
college together.
Yeah. He talks about him in his book.
Great guys.
Yeah.
They all came to me afterwards and apologized because Holly is his real tour manager. I was like, timeline.
But you have to be like that.
Yeah. And so they apologized. So working with Holly, I've known that she knows every single piece of material about Kenny Chesney.
So what a great pair then.
Yeah.
To write this.
And it took them a year to write this book. And I think it's fantastic. And I'm very excited about getting into it. But I was more excited because actually the next year at the ACMs, I was no longer a seat filler. I was a stage person.
Oh, there you go.
And so they're like, we want Danny.
Yeah.
So they asked to work with me again the following year, which was cool.
Yeah.
And then eventually I got a chance to work with Keith Urban and Travis Tritt and a few others. So those are my greatest memories, thanks to my buddy Sean. And working with Dick Clark for those many, many years was truly a blessing because I had told him stories about my mom being a dancer on American Bandstand back in the day. So it was like a full circle moment. It was really cool. So when I saw that Holly was a part of this, I was like, this is going to be great because I know she's going to tell the truth, the absolute truth, because she will not take any crap from anybody.
She's not going to hold back.
Including me.
Yeah, exactly. So I did notice, a couple things. He, like I said, he really shared some things. Again, going back, he's a very private person. And one of the things I was really kind of surprised that he shared was his hair loss.
I think they tried to hide it for a while.
Yeah, well, he doesn't really talk about it. And
No.
I don't think you need to.
No.
But it started when he was in high school.
Probably from wearing too many baseball hats.
Well, actually, so he said it started as a senior in high school, and he would find clumps of hair in his helmet.
Yep.
And what he thinks it's from is, so his mom would practice on him because she was doing hair.
Oh, cosmetology school.
And she gave him a perm one time. And he says to this day, he thinks it was all the chemicals.
Well, that could possibly be.
But yeah, so I mean, I was surprised that he shared that. I think it's very cool that he shared that, because I mean, that's kind of a vulnerable moment. I don't think at any age, and I mean, it doesn't matter what age you are, but I mean, to be a senior in high school and
losing your hair
like that, I mean, that's got to be tough. But he did say in his book, and actually wrote it down, what he said, a full head of hair is not what makes you you. And I thought that was very cool.
I will be honest with you. I can relate to that.
Right.
I lost my mom to cancer. And when I was losing my mom, the stress that was coming out of my body was just immense, knowing that my mom was going to pass. There was nothing we can do to save her. So I would take off my baseball hat and I would lose hair. And then I'd go in the shower and I'd scrub my head. And then becoming an older male, you're like, oh, great. Am I going to be attractive? Is anyone going to love me? Is anyone going to like me?
Yeah.
Now I embrace it.
Absolutely.
Bald is beautiful.
It 1,000% is.
Like, you can never imagine me with long hair.
I absolutely cannot. 1,000% cannot.
Because we have spent so much time together. And the pictures that I show people when I did have long hair back in my day, people are like, that is not you. There's just not you. And it was, but I can totally relate to that situation. And it's nothing to be ashamed of because he's a good looking dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, for sure. But it was just interesting that he shared that because that was something I never knew.
Right.
I never really thought about him like that, like that he didn't have any hair. It doesn't, never
Right.
really. It's like it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's just a part of life.
Like
Yeah.
right in the beginning of the book, like within the first, 30, 35 pages, he's already sharing that.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
again,
good.
back from being he's such a private guy to he really put everything into this.
Yeah.
Into this project, which I think is cool.
It was cool too because he was on the CBS Sunday morning interview.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing this book tour across America. I don't even know where he's at anymore. It seems like
Yeah.
he's got a couple more dates
Yep.
left to sign up. But he also was on The View last week.
Mm-hmm.
And the girls on The View, I don't know. I happened to be off that morning. I had to work that night. But that morning, I watched it because I knew he was going to be on.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see it. And oh my God, the girls were going gaga over
I'm
him.
sure
It was
they
so
were.
funny. And he sat right between Joy. And then Whoopi she couldn't even hardly talk because Kenny was right there and she loves his music. And I just thought it was really cool how he got to entertain and interact with them.
Yeah.
And they were asking a lot of personal questions. And he didn't want to hide anything.
Yeah.
He wanted to let it all out. And I thought it was fantastic on his part. Really good stuff. And it was really fun to watch him interact with the girls too.
And he might just be at that stage of his life too where he's fine with just,
Yeah.
letting things, letting people know more about him.
Well, and I think when you finally reach a point like becoming one of the bronze statues in the rotunda at the Country Music Hall of Fame, what else is there to do?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've already toured. You've been around the world. You've entertained all your guests. This is a moment for him finally to be like, okay, now I don't want to admit that I made it, but I made it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's just one of those things that it's hard for him to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow because when you look at your heroes that are in there,
Yeah.
and when you walk around that rotunda and you see some of the greats, Garth and Johnny and George Jones and Dolly and Tammy Wynette and all those, you just like, is there a place in here for me or
Right.
not? And
Yeah.
there definitely is a place for Kenny Chesney.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing I did notice in the book, and I'm really glad that I found this before we did this episode, it was just last week you were talking about Scott Michaels.
Yes.
And
Does he talk about Scott in the book?
He does.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You know what? And it's that exact same story.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes,
Good.
and I just thought that was very cool. Number one, because we've talked about this before, and
Yeah.
I've met Scott, and I think he's even told that story in front of me before. But
Yes. Yeah.
I thought that was very cool that it came full circle. We just talked about it last week, and then
Yeah.
I saw it in the book.
Oh,
And I
that's
thought
fantastic.
yeah, it's very
See,
neat.
now I have to go buy the hard copy.
Yeah, you do. I think it's definitely something to. It's a keepsake.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And for anybody that's a country music fan in your home, it's the perfect gift for
Yes.
somebody with the holidays coming.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure.
This would be a great holiday
Yeah.
gift. And you can keep this out all day. All year long. You can just have it on a end table. It's something you can pick up and just kind of read a chapter, read a section, and you're going to learn something about Kenny, which I think is really neat.
You're right. Those coffee table books are amazing.
Yep.
The last few years, he would do a tour, and every city that he stopped in, he's got his own team, the photographers or whatever.
Yep.
They'd put together like chapter 1 was Boston, chapter 2 was LA, chapter 3 was Kansas City, 4 was Seattle. So everybody that he met in that particular city, he would include those pictures in that. And I'm in a couple of them, which is really
Oh, that's
cool.
neat. Yeah.
But like a group photo of all of us and stuff, and all the fans and hanging on their sweatshirts and their pirate flags and stuff. So to have a book like this, those are huge coffee table books. But this particular one, I think, is a great one because it's small enough.
Yeah.
You can pick it up on a Sunday, enjoy a cup of coffee.
Probably learn something new about Kenny.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is neat.
Yeah.
And I do have to say that going back to him and touring, it was actually in 2008. He had his is it Poets and Pirates? Yeah, Poets and Pirates tour.
Right.
And for me, I remember me and my husband, we went to it. And for me, I think that's what kind of brought me back to country music in the capacity that I love it today.
Right.
And ever since then, like going to that show, it was like something just kind of clicked. I grew up on country. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
But going to that show, there was just something. It was like, okay, it took me, like a song. I go back.
Right.
It brought me back, and I haven't left since.
Yep.
And ironically enough, I feel like that is that was the catalyst of me starting blogging, because 2 years later,
Okay.
I remember I went to a show, and then I saw him in Vegas a couple of years later. And I think it might have actually been 2009 that I saw him in Vegas. I think I saw him twice. I went to 2 of his shows back to back, and then of course the one in Indy, his final one.
Right.
And I remember writing a concert review for another blog, and then I was like, it kind of got me started. Like, I could be doing this. And it kind of, I don't want
got
to
you
say,
energized.
Yeah, I don't want to say Kenny's the reason I started the blog, but he was definitely part of that reason. Because like I said, he was a catalyst of getting me back into country again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and it's cool because you can come from your perspective as a fan and share your memories and your time. That's what I love about this genre of music. There's always something that makes us go, oh my gosh, man, I love it.
Yeah.
I did that with back to my mom's passing. The only thing that could get my dad past my mom's passing was Reba.
Right.
And so I had to strategically plan a show that I knew Reba was going to be close enough that I could get my dad to go with me because I just couldn't do it. And luckily enough, she came to LA and I managed to work it through my boss that we can go backstage and shake hands and see Reba.
Right.
And it was one of those moments. Boom, it snapped, done. My dad was out of this funk. He changed his life. He got remarried. Years later, it was like 12 years later.
Yeah.
But still, it was one of those moments that makes you think. And that's what's great because now people are following you as a blogger. Like, Julia helped me through this moment. It was one of those cool things. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's just kind of neat. And then to see what he's doing now, you know, it's like it started then.
Yeah.
You know, 2 years later, I started that, and then we're sitting here. You know, had I not started the blog, we probably wouldn't be doing this.
Who knows? Yeah.
I don't know.
And you mentioned Vegas.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yes, it was at the Hard Rock, and it was a smaller, intimate show.
Yep.
And it was so cool.
Now he's going back to Vegas.
In a completely different capacity.
And this is cool because he was the very first country music artist to ever step foot in the sphere.
Yep.
It was the Eagles. It was one other band I cannot remember. I just went completely blank. But anyways, this is his second go around coming back in 2026. They already said we had so much fun. They've already invited him back.
Yeah.
And does he talk about it in the book or not?
I haven't got that far.
Okay, that's cool. We still got some reading to do.
Yeah.
I do know that he did I think it was 10 shows. And it was amazing. All the footage, the filming, the videos that they had to do. He even said on The View that when he stood on stage where he was at, he could look around in different areas and he found himself like, oh, that's cool. I never saw that before.
Oh, that's funny.
He was singing a song. I'm like, I
love that.
That you talk about multitasking.
Yeah.
You know, he's thinking about that video where we cut it, but he's still singing the lyrics to Big Star or whatever it was. I'm like, dude, that's good.
That's impressive. I like that.
So I'm looking forward because I missed him last time.
I know.
And in
so
2026,
so
I
we've
definitely
got to make 2026 happen.
Somehow, some way, we have to.
I think he's only announced 5 shows so far, so I'm really hoping he at least doubles that.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
I'm sure. He hasn't mentioned anything about another stadium tour.
He has
so
not,
maybe this is the time. Okay, let me just back down a little bit. Let me just decompress.
Yep.
Take in maybe 15 shows.
Yeah.
And they don't have to all be in 1 week or 2 weeks.
No, you can spread them across.
Yeah, do like the Eagles did. Do like a month, 2 months on, take a month off, come back 2 months on. Be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. Some of your favorite Kenny Chesney songs.
My gosh, there are so many.
It's so hard to talk about.
It really is. But for me, I think one of my favorite albums of his, just because you know me and I like albums.
Yeah.
I'm an album person. I love The Road and the Radio.
Okay.
That is one of my favorite albums. Came out in 2005. But Summertime was on that. Who You'd Be Today. Beer in Mexico.
Yeah.
Living in Fast Forward.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's all from one album?
From one album. And actually, Road and the Radio is album title song. Yeah. And I just remember in that specific song, there was one lyric, there was a line. And it says, happiness is a destination that's hard to find. And the way he sings it, and it's so true, because it's like, that is a destination that is hard to find, for true happiness.
Will you ever find it? That's the question.
Right.
Do people find it?
And he goes on to sing about, sometimes you have to close some doors, and then you have, the strong people holding you up to, get you through. And it's just on the, on the road and on the radio. And there's just something about his music that just really, it hits you in the feels, and there's just true meaning to it.
Well, and I feel like every song tells a story with him.
It does.
Whether you're a water baby like me, who loves to live life on a boat, I would be Kenny Chesney's best friend.
Yeah.
On a boat, let's go surfing today. Let's go swim with dolphins.
Especially on his boat.
Yeah.
Have you seen his boat? It's pretty impressive.
I would like to sit in that blue chair in the British Virgin Islands, drinking Blue Chair Bay rum all day long.
Absolutely.
It would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think of the songs like Keg in the Closet, American Kids. In fact, part of the CBS Sunday morning interview, great place. It's a bar. I think it's in the British Virgin Islands. One of Kenny's friends, they start off this whole story. This gentleman looks like a true pirate. And Kenny's known him for years. And they met at a bar. I can't remember the name of the bar, but above the bar in Seychelles, I had no idea this is where this came from. Somebody had written, "No shoes, no shirt, no problem."
How funny.
I thought it was just a song that he wrote, thinking, okay, beach life.
Right.
It's actually a sign that's still there today.
Yeah.
And every time he goes in, now he kisses it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty cool. So again, I learned so much from him from that CBS thing. And then with the ladies of The View, it was just fantastic. It was so cool. So I want to do more. I'll give you a couple more of my favorites.
I was going to say, what are some of your favorites?
Boys of Fall.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Don't blink.
Yep.
And the one that always gets me, I don't know why it gets me so hard. There Goes My Life.
Yes.
He
talks about that song too.
He does. Yeah. With my daughter Alexis, my boys, I'm super proud of my kids. I love my kids more than anything. They're great. And my boys, you don't worry about your boys like you do your daughter.
Right.
And so when that song came out, I found myself a couple times behind the mic on the radio tearing up, thinking of my daughter. She's packed a Honda. I've given her my credit card. It's full of shoes. It's full of dresses and clothes.
Yep.
So that one is probably one of my favorites for sure. But I was like Big Star.
Yep. That's a great one.
Talked about a song, a bar, and we had one here in Portland. It was called Banana Joe's for years. We used to go down there all the time, and it was fun. But yeah, I mean, it's so hard when the sun goes down with Uncle Cracker.
Yeah,
and
he's had some great ones. Off of his, so Road in the Radio is probably one of my favorite albums, and then also Hemingway's Whiskey was another one of the whole album. I love that whole album. And that's where Boys of Fall came from.
Yep.
Somewhere with You.
Yep.
You and Tequila.
Yeah, I was going to say with Grace Potter.
Yes.
Yep.
But what was interesting, and I just learned that this past summer, so that was written with Matrika Berg, but also Deanne Carter.
Oh, I knew Deanna Carter was part of that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So when I saw her this past summer, and she was singing Strawberry Wine.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's pretty much, I'm not going to lie, the only song I knew of
her.
hers.
Yeah.
And then she went on to tell the story behind that, and she sang that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah,
yeah.
He bought her a house with that song.
Yeah, probably, and probably a really nice house too.
A nice farm in Tennessee.
Yeah,
yeah.
But he has so many great songs. I mean, I feel like he's the king of summer when it comes to music.
Yeah, absolutely.
And shows.
And I feel like. And I don't want to necessarily say that I'd love to see a bar from Kenny Chesney, but I would love to see all the stuff that he's collected over the years from doing as much as he has.
I feel like he could almost do a museum, kind of like the Johnny Cash Museum, but his would be completely different, more on that probably beachy vibe.
Yes, for sure. I know I have plenty of stuff from Kenny Chesney: shirts, flags, bottles of Blue Chair Bay rum.
Yeah, we definitely have the rum for sure.
Yeah,
great rum.
We always have that on hand.
We should have had rum here tonight.
I know.
We should.
I should have. I had the 3 bottles. I have the banana liqueur. I should have. I didn't even think of that. The coconut rum. Well, next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we were just more excited about the book.
Yeah. It's a great book. I'm excited to read. I love to read, so I love having an actual book to hold and to read. So I think this will be a great one to, just like I said, from time to time pick up. Learn something new about Kenny. I think it would make a great gift. The holidays are coming.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
does it show pictures in here? I don't know.
Does. Yeah.
It does. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's several photos in there.
Oh man, look at that. That's crazy. That's awesome.
But there's just so many good stories, and I think it's great.
Yeah. No, it's a cool book. You definitely look at that group, man. That's just so fun.
Yep.
What a life.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Kenny Chesney, especially for becoming the newest member of the Country Music Hall of Fame with so many others. That was so cool, man. Such a great moment.
Yeah.
If you have a favorite Kenny Chesney song, please let us know. We could put that playlist together. We haven't done that for a while.
We have so many playlists. We need to get going and start to create.
I know. I can't remember the last one that I was going to do, but it was the throwbacks. Like what songs that we have not heard for a while, but we love so much.
Yep.
I heard a song yesterday, taking us back just for 2 seconds, a song that will throw your mind. Yesterday afternoon, I heard Reno from Doug Supernaw.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I had to stop for a second, listen to the lyrics, and I'm like, that's Doug Supernaw, who's no longer with us.
Right.
But I was
that's
like,
way
wow.
back.
So that's the one I want to add to the list.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have a favorite Kenny Chesney song, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I want to hear your favorites.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my friend Charlotte Weiss. Thank you, Charlotte. She's loving the podcast. She's always texting us.
Love that. Yep.
Katie Carroll, D Wise, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us and following along on the podcast. We're having so much fun doing it. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, click, like, and spread the good word about the Country Music Rocks podcast.
Yes.
Julia, you can always email her, Julia at countrymusicrocks.net, Danny at
Danny,
countrymusicrocks.net. We'd love to hear from you again. Thanks for joining on the YouTube channel, following along, just having a good time, and wherever you're listening to your favorite podcast, whether it be Instagram, social pages. I'm thinking all of a sudden, like I went blank in my head.
Yeah, no, you follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, stream us on Apple, on Spotify, all the streaming.
Odyssey.
Yep.
Yeah, just follow along. Yeah, come along with us. In the meantime, have yourself a great weekend.
We will see you or talk to you guys all next week and pick up Kenny Chesney's new book,
Heart, Life, Music.